Welcome to Kidmissing TV. I am your host, Angelina Wilson. This is the case of Denise Cochran. She was an 11-year-old little girl from Brockton, Massachusetts. There are 3 different stories as to what she left her house to do that day. Did she go outside and play? Was it when she went to school? Nobody's sure. But we know that on that day, May 23rd, 1975, she disappeared. Her remains were found on April 28th, 1976 in a transformer case. Another steel company had bought out New England Steel, and I guess they were picking up steel parts in the yard of New England Steel. One of them was a transformer case. Transformer case, if you look up at the power lines, you'll see these big things that look like big buckets or something. That's where the transformer sits. The transformer sits in oil. I guess it keeps it cool, it keeps it lubricated, that sort of thing. So it doesn't burn up when it's trying to change electrical, how much electricity is going where. That's what a transformer does. It literally transforms electricity so that all the electricity in the line doesn't come in and destroy your appliances and stuff. It just like on the end of your let me show you something. I can pick it up here. Here it is. Just like on the end of your computer, right here. I'm not going to be able to do this, am I? Let me unplug it. That'll be the easiest. Right here, that's a transformer. But a transformer, there we go. On a power line's a little bit different because it's huge. And like I said, they're usually filled with oil. Then the transformer is put down inside. This was just the casing. No transformer, no oil, no nothing. And they went to pick it up with the crane, and I guess it was old and it fell apart. When it did, her body was exposed inside of it. Should be fairly easy to figure out who killed her. Who had access to the New England Steel Yard? How long had it been closed before the other steel company took over? None of those questions have been answered. She attended Huntington Elementary School, where she was in the 6th grade. Her home was on Essex Street in Brockton. Brockton Iron and Steel had taken over New England Steel. She was 11 years old. And I would like to thank Crimes Forgotten by Time for this episode. It was funny when I was watching her video on the case. I remembered a little girl being found in a transformer casing. I remembered it being on the news, but later on, because I was only 18 months old when she was found, so maybe 20 months. So I wouldn't remember it from the time, but I do remember it from later on because I remember her being found in the transformer case. That just stood out to me. And I asked Crimes Forgotten by Time. Again, I wish I knew your first name. I feel weird calling you Crimes Forgotten by Time, but mine is Angie, in case you guys didn't know. Would you care if I did the case, given that I'm a little more local than you, and I would really like to see what I can find. And I know she's the one that found the 3 different stories of what she was doing that day. Was she going to play with friends? After school? Was she headed to school? Or did she stay home from school to help her mother because her mother was sick? And then went out to play with friends. It's weird that there are 3 different stories, but like I said, I live about an hour away or so. And so when I asked Crimes Forgotten by Time, she said, "You don't have to ask me." She said, "And you live closer. Maybe you can get information I didn't." Now, and her case may be connected to several other cases in the area. And her cause of death sounds like a beating. External injuries, including a fractured skull. The other cases that her case may be related to are also in Brockton. And I believe I have a couple of them on my list this month. Now, her dad, she was the youngest of 4 children. I wonder if the police asked her school, did she attend school that day? And that would help narrow down a timeline a little bit. Her dad said, "I disciplined her that day." Which, not unusual. Kids are disciplined every day. Someone said they saw her on her bicycle that afternoon. However, her dad said, "Well, that's kind of impossible since her bike is broken down and laying right here in our driveway. Nobody saw her on her own bicycle." So, and there's a picture of the bike laying in the driveway. Like I said, Brockton Steel had acquired New England Steel. Again, she was only found because the crane moving the transformer dropped it. The transformer case dropped it. And it came open. It doesn't say she was submerged in oil. That would be inside the transformer case. And she wouldn't have fit inside with the transformer itself, I don't think. So it must have been completely empty. Except for, her tiny little remains. So, yeah, I'm going to try to get a picture of a transformer case, maybe even the transformer case, because I know there are pictures out there for the poster, so you can see what I'm talking about. Unfortunately, I didn't find a whole lot more than Crimes Forgotten by Time found. Except that her dad had disciplined her that morning. I think that's the only thing I found that she didn't, and that it was connected potentially to other cases in the area. I think that's all I really found that she didn't. She was hoping I would find more. And I thought that since I'm a little more local to it, that the people watching me might be a little more local to it, and therefore might possibly have more information. And if you do, you can contact the Brockton Police Department at 508-941-0200. 508-941-0200. That is the Brockton Police Department. So again, I want to thank Crimes Forgotten by Time. They inspired this entire month of New England cases with 2 exceptions. And this was actually a case, I didn't know the name, but this was actually a case I wanted to do anyway. Just like the case of the Fernald School, which we'll be doing Wednesday. Let me see. Nope, we will be doing Lee Boxall from the United Kingdom on Wednesday. But it's coming up. Let's see. Next Monday, we're doing the Fernald School. And it's a case I've been wanting to do for a long, long time. But I didn't have enough information to look it up. I knew they had this so-called science club and these experiments on kids, and I knew it was in Massachusetts, but I didn't have enough, or at least I didn't think I had enough, to search for it. Then, History and Hearsay did a video on it. And it was another New England case. I was working on New England cases, and I said it's going this month. So look for that next Monday, and on Wednesday we will talk about the United Kingdom case of Lee Boxall. Like I said, there are 2 kind of outlier cases that aren't New England related. There's that one, and there's the thalidomide scandal. And I think that's very important to talk about. Like I said, if you watched my preview, I put my video on the Dalcon Shield in the end card. So you can check that video out before we get into thalidomide. And there's a lot to unpack there. So I hope you'll join me this month. It's going to be a fascinating month. Not just, does and missings and unsolved murders, but also injustice, like the Fernald School, like thalidomide. Because I cover stuff like that too, that doesn't have a solution per se, but is important to be covered. Those who forget the past are doomed to repeat it. I wish I knew who to attribute that quote to. So, God bless you. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you Wednesday. Please subscribe. We're trying to get to 500 by the 4th of July, and we're very close. And 300 on Kidmissing, and 30 on Monkey's Pro Wrestling. Thank you all so much. Bye, guys.